Hello. What I'm going to say here now may be a little difficult to describe, but I will try to explain it clearly. It may be a little, I don't know if it's going to be difficult to understand, but I will try. I call it Swati. Now, this is, in a previous video, I've spoken about Rashmi as a disease that is from suboptimal reflection on the matter. Like you have a glass, yeah? Light, when goes through a prism, comes in seven colors. You place a glass, there is, say a mirror, there is a reflection from the mirror. So, and then there is an interpretation of it. So when you see something, you interpret it in many ways. And that interpretation may or may not be as well as it needs to be. Yeah. So that's like seven colors. So that's kind of Rashmi, your reflections on the matter, if it is as original or not. So I'm talking about certain diseases that we may be experiencing in our um, consciousness, different levels of consciousness, and how the light with which you see things has it be as well as it needs to be versus not. So I'm calling it a name. When we say Rashmi, it's like Ra, that which arises, and so there is something that arises, and that which arises from that. So it's like an interpretation from that. So there's a sun, and there's like a sun rays. Yeah, there are different angles, and then there are rays. The moon has has a reflection of the sun, and then the moon is said to have a light. So that's a reflection. That's our interpretation of what is called as the moonlight, but it's actually reflection from the sun. Yeah, so Rashmi, rays of light and reflection from that. Swati has the word swa, and that which arises from, or that which arises from there. Yeah, kind of. Or that which has it be swa, makes it swa. Yeah, swati. Um, makes it swa. Swa is more like you could say self or um, or own, or when you say Swaraj, it's more your own land kind. Yeah. So of your own. And why am I calling that as a disease? Is because it's a kind of a reflection on the water, because our body is at least 60 to 70% water. But the thing is, it is the impressions on water, and that kind of forms a film. Okay, it's more like there is, say, precipitates on water. And if the water is not properly digested, then you have several bouncing off of from there. So your interpretations would then be because of something underlying here. For example, um, what has been formed? It's more like a crystal that's formed. So there is water, and it's kind of crystallized into, oh, this is what it is. And then it kind of is this. And then there is reflection from there. Yeah. When information is not sufficiently processed, so we kind of learn from many, many places. You watch videos, you listen to audio, you read books, you participate in many courses. And if you don't process that information, don't digest information well enough, you have several angles from which to reflect on the matter. But it's not quite fluid. It's not quite one becomes the other. You have several angles, and then it's a interpretation, reflection. So what light hits different angles is accordingly how the different interpretations are. You could have visualizations from there. Yeah. So light falls on different angles. So if you tend to more visualize, you tend to have more see things, you may be in some way swatified, kind of. I'm using this word until I find another name or another word by which to talk it. But this more kind of is more like a placeholder representative. Yeah. The thing is, I'm trying to call out something. So when you can kind of recognize you're having information undigested, yeah, you're having a lot of visualization, yeah, then you know that you're kind of having a little information not processed, or you have a little crystalline intellect, not fluid yet, or it could be a little too concrete. You're seeing things in fixed ways. There's another word for it. Yeah, I will, when I arrive at it, I will tell you. Right now, I'm talking about Swati. Crystalline a little bit, yeah, angular. Um, and what happens when you see things in different angles, yeah, is proper integration of different information so that there is a fluid intelligence. Okay. You have perspectives and then you reflect from somebody is saying one thing, you would react from there, or you would respond from there, but that may not be as whole or as you could still talk about it, but um, you know there is something more. Yeah. Mm. So within our own understanding, there could be that. So as we're speaking, I could also be reflecting off of the glass surface, and that is affecting what I'm speaking. Yeah. In another, say, one-to-one interaction, I might speak differently because I would be interacting with, say, you, and your composition would be different from mine. And your composition is also from, say, the metabolic health. Now, this is not about your digested metabolic health. This is about information metabolism. Yeah. Food you eat goes through digestive processes. Information, thoughts, energies, yeah. Or for example, it's not yet matter, kind of, but it is kind of matter in a way which is quite angular. Yeah. All right. So I'm just calling this out because as you're say walking, I you go for a walk around your house from one room to another, from one street to another, you will notice how um, different thought lines or different, I call them as archetypes. Yeah. But they're also affects, influences on the person that you are. It's like the air touches you in a particular way, and that has you, say, feel cool some places warm. Similarly, when there is different metabolic concerns, say how water is processed or how air is processed, or if there is, say, particulate matter in the air, how that then affects you and your thinking. So I'm just kind of, yeah. So Rashmi is more clear. The way I understand it, Swati is more clear. And I notice sometimes when there is a little heaviness in the air or there is a particular kind of a glassiness, yeah. So you can, it feels different. And I know I'm having a Swati effect, yeah. So it then helps to maybe I tend to do healthy nurture breathing so that I'm not so angulared, yeah, angular momentum. So my way of thinking is not then going in one way or the other because there is an angular momentum, yeah. So so then how to keep my edges round and not be impacted. Yeah, it's speaking differently, but these are different stages of working. But then talk about it further if you'd like to know further about identifying Swati. Yeah, unless I find another word, I'll have to go with something. So I'm going with Swati right now. So it is like the self. It kind of has you come to the self, but is not it. I would say when it is properly digested, integrated, and then something emerges from there, I would call it as swaha. Like digested and then from there. Yeah. Till then it is swatified. Kind of it. Yeah. So thank you so much for your kind interest. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day.